everybody. Welcome to the Catch Up After College podcast. We're catching up after college on the lessons of life lived by leaders. We're a safe space grounded in grace, and our aim's always to aid. We may be post-graduation, but we're never post-education. I'm Isaiah Brown, your host. Thank you for tuning in today. Today, we have the coolest couple that I know, Lee and Jill Lee, with us. What's happening?
Hi.
Hey, pretty good. It seems like you guys are very connected today.
Yeah, through a wire.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's cool. No worries.
And are we really the coolest couple that you know? I don't know.
I think
really?
so. Yeah,
okay.
You're pretty up there. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Just check that off your list, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So I thought I'd ask today, you guys are pretty musical. Like you guys play a lot of instruments, you both sing. How many instruments do you guys play?
Ooh, I think I just play 2.5.
Okay.
I think 2.5 too.
Yeah.
We're looking there because all our instruments
All our
are
instruments
here.
are here.
Oh, okay. What is the half? I gotta ask.
It's like you kind of know how to play one of the instruments, but not really.
Okay.
You kind of like wing it. Yeah.
All right.
So mine's
nice.
like guitar, little keyboard, and half bass.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Julie?
Yeah, mine is bass, keyboard, and a little guitar, only when forced.
Nice. Okay. No worries. And I thought since you guys love music, I thought it'd be cool if you shared your top 3 underrated artists or bands to the audience that we probably haven't heard of before. So think of someone who's obscure but talented, but your top 3.
Ooh,
GQ.
that's a good one. I recently discovered GQ. He's a rapper from Oakland. He has 2 really great albums out right now. He's really good. His name is GQ. On Instagram, he's the town GQ. That's one. Yeah. Do you want to go?
Well, I was just thinking Yellow Days is on repeat right now. So his new album's pretty dope. I don't know if it's a well-known artist, but it's definitely worth a listen.
Yeah.
Cool.
Totally.
All right. You got one more.
Oh, yeah. Oldie but goodie for me is Teenage Fan Club. They've been around since the 90s. Very like indie rock pop kind of melodic music. I think that, yeah, Teenage Fan Club for me.
Can I get a bonus one? I want to include Blood Orange in there. If you haven't listened to Blood Orange, you have to listen to Blood Orange. I mean, they're not, a new band or anything, but there's definitely, if you haven't listened to that, that's a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
So
biased. Yeah, and Toro y Moi.
Oh, Toro.
Yeah, he's from here in the East Bay too. I don't think those are obscure, but like they're really great.
If you don't stop us, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you got kicked 2 off the list now that you're at 5. No, I'm playing. No. Yeah. All right. Cool. So you guys mind telling us where you're from, and can you describe what your life was like before college, and go in any order that you want, since I know I'm asking 2 people right now.
Cool. I'm from California. I'm a Cali boy. Been here since I was 9. But before that, I moved all around because my dad was in the Navy. Born in Hawaii, lived in Connecticut, Vallejo, Guam, and then San Diego. And then I've been here in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and Oakland for about like 19 years now. Life before college, I was in San Diego. I was a hardcore fundamental Baptist kid, singing in the choir, trying to lead the youth. And I was very unsure about what I wanted to do with my life because I was confused, and there was a lot of things I wanted to do, and I didn't know how to decide on what to do. So, but I was having a good time. So that was my life before college.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm from Canada. I'm from Quebec, which is French Canada. And I come from a small town surrounded by cows and chickens. And I'm a pastor's kid. I'm a PK. And my life before college, I'd say I was a very eager and hungry, or not hungry, hungry. Yeah, I was a very hungry teenager. Like I just wanted to do things, but options where I come from were very limited. So I just decided I'm gonna go for the hardest thing I can think of and see where that takes me. Now I don't even work in that field, but that was just kind of the hunger, not the anger, but the hunger to do something with all that energy.
Yeah. And I remember you told me you studied a lot of stuff, didn't you, Julie? Like it's like nursing and then was it theology or something?
Yeah. And then business.
And business. Wow. Okay. Dang.
All makes sense. All connects.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. How'd you guys meet again, if you don't mind sharing? Oh, did it go through?
We met in San Francisco. Oh, yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
We're good. Yeah. We met in San Francisco at a church called Cornerstone Church. I was volunteering in the coffee shop, serving people coffee. And Jules here was a bass player in the worship team. And yeah, I thought she looked really cool. And we became friends and started volunteering in a coffee company, Proyecto Diaz. And that's how we met.
Nice.
Same story.
Same story.
What's your version? Yeah.
I know.
Nice. That's cool. So what did you guys want to be when you grew up, when you're little?
Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. That was kind of something I thought I wanted to be, but I didn't end up being that. Yeah.
I wanted to be a hairdresser. Don't ask me why. I was for sure going to become a hairdresser.
So why did you want to be a hairdresser?
Can't remember. I think I just enjoyed playing with people's hair, and I thought this was the coolest thing. You get paid to play with people's hair. Yeah.
Nice. And how did you guys know that college was going to be the right path for you personally?
Ooh, I knew it was the right path because I, by nature, for how I'm wired, seek stability. And I knew getting an education would help me find that stability financially and just in life. And so that was something I gravitated towards because, you know, my parents were split in what they wanted me to do. My dad didn't want me to go to college. He just wanted me to do music. My mom wanted me to go to college. And I really thought hard about it. And I took the more stable route, you know, the college route, and I don't regret it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. How did you know college was going to be the right path for you personally?
You know, I don't know if I knew it was going to be the right path from the get-go. I just kind of looked around at my options where I was at, and I kind of knew I wanted something else, but I didn't know what. So I was just really just trying to find a path. And so, you know, I went into nursing, and it happened to be such a good fit for me at the time. And it was something that I was happy with, and I was successful, and I really felt like it connected with the kind of person that I am. And it took me paths and took me places, but originally I think I came in very naive and unaware of like the impact that college would have on me. So yeah.
Nice. And can you guys recall a season of having to learn new skills or adapt to your environment to survive?
Every day.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So earlier I mentioned that stability was a core value of mine, and so after college, I started working in the biotech industry, and I did it for 11 years. And then out of boredom and spiritual calling, I decided to quit and become a barista. I think you've met me during that time, Isaiah. Well, you know, everything stable that I worked for was just basically gone at that point. I was making minimum wage, just trying to, get by. And so I had to learn about peace and trust, and I had to learn how to be financially wise, because when I was in biotech, I had the money to enjoy good things and not worry about where I spent my money and how much. I wasn't rich or anything, but I'm just saying for basic needs, and kind of being a barista here in the Bay Area, I really had to learn how to budget and control my wants and just focus on my needs. And so it's priceless. I'm really glad I learned it. So.
For me, I feel like every turn I took required some survival skills in some way, shape, or form. The way I live life is, if I'm not scared, I'm not growing. So I tend to put myself in a situation where I'm way out of my depth, and I absolutely love it, but it's absolutely uncomfortable. So thinking of stepping into nursing, I just didn't step in it. I went straight for the emergency room training. And so after 2 weeks of training, I was little 17, 18-year-old me being like, I was 20, but yeah, little one, what do I do? And so I had to learn very fast. When I moved to Australia, I didn't speak any English, so I had to figure that out. And when I moved here, starting a business, I had no idea how to do this. Now I work in tech. And just like those kind of skills of adapting, how to learn, knowing how to learn and how to adapt and survive is like something that I had to apply across my journey and across the many different stages of life. And so, as soon as I feel like I'm more comfortable, then I'm going to seek the next challenge so that I make sure that I'm learning again and I make sure I'm growing.
Nice. And as said before, you guys are very multi-talented people. How do you know what path to take personally for you? Like, what has worked so far?
I'm a very feelings-based person. And so I wouldn't say that my decisions were on what path to take was always wise or the best decision. I think I've always based it on my emotions, and I'm wired that way. And the good thing about it is I learned through experience, through mistakes. And I learned firsthand what's a good path and what's not, by just being in it, you could, take wisdom from others and hear other people's experiences. And some people make decisions off of that. But I'm kind of the person that, if I really want to try something, I need to try it for myself and see if it's good for me or not. And so, yeah. So short answer is emotions and feelings, which is not always a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hard question, Isaiah, because you always have a chance to fail. As soon as you try something new, you might fail, and you need to see that as a success or as a learning opportunity in some different ways. And so, I think it's an exploration. It's not getting it right or wrong. It's just making it your path. And you kind of decide those kind of things based off your environment, based on what you think you need, or these kind of things. Taking advice from people around you is super helpful. I remember not knowing what my next step was, and I was seeking for advice for almost a year without feeling like it was really it. And my conversation actually happened with a stranger on a bus in Sydney. And that's where that connection was like, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And then I moved to San Francisco. And so sometimes it's not super clear of what the next step is, but it's really seeking, you know, when the next step is. You might not know what, but just start asking and start exploring, and don't be afraid to fail and try things that you've never done before. Like all of the strengths that you might have, you might not even know, because we haven't tried these kind of things before. So we don't really know until we try. So when I studied business, I didn't even know I was good at it. I was ready to fail. And it's really through trying and just jumping and do it scared that I eventually found my footing into, I'm not good at everything in business, but I'm good at certain things, and really hone on that when I figure it out.
That's great. And thinking on life experiences, what has life taught you that school hasn't? What are some experiences that stick out that have really, I guess, moved you forward in life?
Wow. I think for me is, you know, I think prioritizing balance in your life, kind of finding a handful of core values and making every decision and investing in all of those core values. Like for me, like just recently, like my core values has been family, our marriage, close friends, and a good work-life balance. And so everything every decision I have to make needs to align with that. And, that's not something I learned in school, but through just experience, like in life, because for the first maybe 40 years of my life, I think I just really put my time in so many different things that I was passionate about. But by doing that, I sacrificed other things in my life, like friends and family. And as I grew older, I was like, oh man, relationships with people that I love seems to be the most important thing at this point. And so, and that, it changes in seasons of your life and in age too. And so I'm speaking from that perspective, but if you asked me maybe 20 years ago, it would have been totally different. So, yeah.
If I can summarize all of it, I would say context. You learn black and white, you learn the blueprint of things in college, which is good. It gives you a point of reference to go from. But I think one thing to never forget is when you start working, most of the time it's with people. Doesn't matter if your work is for people or in a team, right. Context matters, and it's not black and white. You have to learn to engage and to build relationships and to build trust. And really, your work is going to be as good as your relationships are, because you win as a team. And, and so I think that's something that, not that college didn't teach me that, but it's such a different context where you're sitting down and you're taking information. You don't really get to apply that information until you're doing the work. And for me, what made the most impact was learning that context is so instrumental to your success. And you should always be listening and try to bring what you know to what the situation is at, and not impose your knowledge on something without, listening or being aware of the context to really engage with that. Yeah,
that's great. I love how your guys' answers always. Oh, Leah, you're about to say something?
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. I think something that I didn't learn in college that I learned later, and it's hugely important, is financial management. I think that's the key to just balance and success in life. Not all the time, I'm just saying, but in this society, in our nation, in our country, wealth management, finance management, getting out of debt, it opens up so many doors for your life. It allows you to be more generous. It allows you to experience more things. But when we kind of imprison ourselves with reckless spending and not saving and whatever it is, we end up going down to a really bad spiral, which could have repercussions through as you get older too. And so I think financial management is the important thing that I learned outside of college.
No, it's great. And living in the Bay Area, you have to know financial management, or else, not going to last that long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But haven't said it yet, but we're on season 3. It's Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things. Who would you say have been some extraordinary influencers for your guys' life personally?
Wow.
Big question.
You want to, yeah.
I have a couple of people. One of them is my high school principal. I was not good in high school at all. Like, I was not good. I was not going to graduate. And yes, I went to college later, but this is so specific to things I was interested in. I was actually good at that, or, I passed, but high school was really rough. And I remember sitting down with her and being like, I think I'm going to quit. I can't do this. And she looks at me and she was, you didn't work this hard just to quit right now. I'm going to see you through this, and I'm going to help you get through this. And I didn't bring in like the energy to finish. I was not having the motivation or wanting to do this, but she really, shook me a little bit in a healthy way. And I wouldn't be nowhere near where I'm at right now if it wasn't for her. So there's so many other people that impacted me, but that was definitely the first that came to mind.
Wow. I'm not trying to be cheesy here, but it's Jules for me. Just trying to get brownie points right now.
It's cool.
No, but earlier I mentioned about like having those core values in your life, like choosing a few and kind of directing your life to meeting those core values. And we were on every year on our anniversary we take some kind of trip, somewhere, a getaway. And this particular year, that's when Jules asked me, like, I was trying to decide whether I should go back into science or stay in the coffee industry, and I had a hard time deciding it. But she asked me those really hard questions, like, well, what are your core values? And I had to think about it. And I was like, yeah, I want to see my family more. I want to spend time with you more, make music, all of that, and it turns out like changing careers would help me meet those goals more. And so, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. And if you're cool to stay on that for a second, how was that transition? Because I remember mentioning to you on a phone call not too long ago, like the timing was crazy. Like, because like being in the coffee business right now during COVID, it's not exactly easy. But can you talk about that whole process for transition?
For me, it was like maybe a year in the making, me like thinking about it. I take a long time to make decisions. Isaiah, like I'm not, I don't know. Am I an impulsive decision maker?
Depends for what.
Depends.
If it's for food.
If it's
or
for
clothes.
Okay, yes.
Nice.
If it's retail shopping.
But if it's a big life decision, you could take a year to make up his mind.
Yeah, any life decision, it takes me a year. So don't, the people that know me well know that of me. It's not easy. I weigh the pros and cons for a long, long time. And, sometimes with decisions, especially like leaving an organization or a work, you let some people down naturally, right? And I'm such a huge people pleaser that I don't want to like let people down. So anyway, and it wasn't until like my body was just super stressed. I wasn't sleeping well. The demand of my job was just overwhelming, that it kind of helped me have more clarity on like what direction I needed to go. This was last October, so exactly a year ago, way before we knew about the pandemic coming or any political issues that we have. And I feel very grateful and blessed. I had no idea that I would be, protected and secure during this time. if I hadn't made that decision, yeah, I think it would have been rough. I know some of my former colleagues got furloughed who aren't working anymore. And so I'm super grateful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the feelings, kind of that gut feeling again that that kicked in. So.
Yeah. And I like how you're talking about how Julie was pushing you in the right direction. This question kind of goes into that for both of you. How do you not settle for the status quo, but instead strive for excellence in every sphere of life?
Yep. That's me.
Nice.
You might read blogs about this, like nurses who have patients and it impacts them. And to me, that happened. And that really profoundly impacted me. I worked in the ER, and it was just this month where I just had the same kind of patient where I had to reflect on what kind of life did I want to live, and how did I want to live it, and was I going to regret my life? So every decision I make, I ask myself, when I'm on, my later years, am I going to regret staying where I'm at, or am I going to regret not going for this? And I just kind of go through that cycle of questions, because that really tells you, am I just being comfortable here? But really, I know I should be doing something else. It's kind of a good way for me to, filter my intuition and judge it a little bit. And so working with excellence comes with that. I think, I want to be proud of the work I do for myself. And I just have this drive of, wanting to do good work and wanting to do things that I'm proud of, and at the end be proud of all the efforts, because with work you can put so much in and not be proud of at the end. But I just really want to make steps and actions that I want to later on reflect on and be like, yeah, I don't regret anything.
Yeah. That's great.
No, that's cool. You don't have to answer. We could keep moving, but only if you want to.
Well, yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not a perfectionist or anything like that, but I any work that I do, I have to feel good about it. I used to be worried about what other people thought about it, and that was so paralyzing and frustrating, because then I was like, oh, why am I doing this? I'm just trying to impress somebody, or sometimes it's for the good, because if that drives you to do better, then yeah. But then I would do it at the expense of my own health and my own mental sanity. And so now I kind of just do it within my own healthy boundaries. And if I feel good about it, then that's good. And if somebody doesn't, then hey, yeah, we'll deal with it. They can deal with it and we can talk it over, or whatever it is. But that's kind of my approach to it.
Awesome. And how do you guys know what to say yes to?
How do you pick your battles? How do you choose your opportunities? Yeah.
I think I answered this earlier. Like, every decision I make is filtered through my core values. So how does it affect my marriage? How does it affect my time with my family and friends? How does it affect my health? And so if it negatively impacts any of those, then I'm like, probably no, I won't do it, but if not, then it's a yes.
Yeah, there's so many ways to answer that question. Yeah. Definitely need to have some buckets in your life where you can self-care in some way, shape, or form. Doesn't mean it will get busy or anything like that, but kind of strive to have your life in a balance, I think is really helpful. And then, like you said, based on your values, based on the goals that you have, is this, serving yourself just for your own enjoyment, which is not bad, but what percentage of things is doing what, right? And why are you saying yes? And I've often heard, if you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else indirectly. So kind of choosing your yes wisely, because your yes will be no's for other things. So saying too many yeses is not you're saying no to the good things maybe you should be doing. So a healthy no is a yes to a healthy thing. But I think you have to figure it out in the season you're in. Every season is different. Every season you have different capacities. Every season has its own, and we grow season from season. So right now I feel like I can have a lot more on my plate than I would have a season ago. And so I'm saying yes a little bit more, but I still feel super balanced and healthy.
Nice. Awesome. And what are different ways that you or others challenge yourself for consistent improvement, for not only for what you do, but for who you are?
I think just repetition for me, the whole practice makes perfect. It's also the more you do something, the better it gets, whether it be a craft or a simple task at work, or even a, psychological behavior or a mindset, the more you get a chance to like practice, work at it, like the more you refine it along the way. So for me, it's repetition, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to answer this a little bit different, but I just ask for a ton of feedback.
Oh, that's good.
How am I doing? Oh, like not all the time, and try to have specific question of like, if I were to improve one thing that would make your life easier, and then just kind of learning what I could do better, or maybe habits or things that I'm doing that I could, enhance or change. So, being comfortable with the uncomfortableness of getting feedback and receiving feedback well, I think makes you grow like a lot faster. Not perfect. I don't know if I will never be perfect, but I think just this desire of always wanting to serve others and improve. And I just want to be the kind of person people want to make plans with, so I think having that in mind and asking feedback and being self-aware and reflecting, and that's the way I kind of go about that.
That's really good.
On feedback, for me personally, I don't always take it the best. But I think it's more like when I feel like I'm experienced in something and then someone gives me feedback. But if I have no idea what I'm doing and someone gives me feedback, I accept it right away. Like, how do you balance that?
I always try to think that I'm never an expert.
Nice.
So in my mindset, I will never say, oh, I'm an expert at this. I will try to keep a teachable mindset of I'm always growing. Even if someone more junior comes to me giving me feedback, like, who do you, maybe there's something else that I haven't learned, maybe not so much in the skill, but maybe in perspective. And so I try, and sometimes it's just listening to the feedback, and some feedback is going to be constructive and some feedback, and just take it in, think about it, and like, nah, actually, no. But at least having the filter of taking it, looking at it, and asking questions, being curious to try to understand the other person's perspective. And then you choose whether you take it or not, but it's still a valid way to interact with the conversation.
Yeah, that's great. I think, you mentioned growth mindset. That's the key of improving and doing well and receiving feedback, the right way. And and I love what you said about you don't have to receive all the feedback, if somebody gives you feedback, you got to ask, does this person matter to me? If they don't, then just ignore it. It doesn't matter. Just, get it from people you trust, that's not afraid to give you brutal honesty and also really helpful, constructive feedback. There's
a difference between opinions and feedback too.
Yes.
Feedback are usually the people I choose that make me I know they will tell it to me straight up, and I will have a specific space for those people, but there's a lot of opinion that comes your way. And that's, I think, is a huge difference between opinion and feedback. And so I definitely sift through those. Yeah.
You also have to when people do give you feedback, I like what you said about the opinion versus feedback thing. That really opened up a can of worms in my mind. But feedback is super helpful. If you ask feedback for that has purpose, or a main a goal, hey, I want to be for you, maybe I want my music to sound this way, and if somebody gives you feedback that is totally more opinionated or attacking you personally, that's not helping you reach your goal, right? Of like making better music. So
yeah, that's great. Good stuff, y'all. Y'all are very wise. But let's keep it moving too. So what's been the most practical way you guys put to use all that you study so far?
That's a funny one.
Is it? Other Mike.
For me, yeah. I don't know if I use things that I study practically well. That's why I'm laughing. My memory is so bad. Like, I just feel like I'm constantly having to relearn stuff. So I mean, that's why it's funny.
We've learned, he's a microbiologist nurse. So we both learned how to wash our hands. Infection prevention is very convenient in our household right now. Definitely use that as, very practical, but for work itself. It's hard to kind of decipher exactly this is what I learned in college, this is what I learned in real life, and this is how I'm using it, because I feel like everything kind of flows in together. I'm using stuff from nursing in my work right now. I'm using elements of business in my work right now, and some things incurred in terms of the learning, I incurred it when I practiced it, but I learned it in school. But the way I learned it really was during my other work. And so now I'm kind of transferring skills and doing all that stuff. I would say like a lot of the good things that I've learned in college is learning how to critically think. It's kind of a level of the way that the information comes to you. It's not just take it. It's also like make your own decision and learn how to learn and learn how to, think critically. So especially in nursing, like you need to make good decisions and you're in charge of all your decisions. So it doesn't matter what the textbook says. You need to learn how to have critical judgment. And that's something that I took everywhere I went. And something about university or college, that the way you're, encouraged to think about certain things, help you think through other situations in life in a similar, the pattern is there, but you can apply it to so many different situations. So I'd say like that's very general, but it's definitely something I use every day.
Nice. Can you think of any examples where you had to go beyond the book? You're like, what they're teaching me, that's not going to work in this situation. I got to come up with something custom.
Every day.
I think that, I feel like I barely use what I learned from college. When you join a company or get a new job, I mean, they train you everything, you do have to know the core of what you learned at college, but not every detail. And I found that for me, at least in the science field and even in the coffee industry, like a lot of people hire people just because they get along with, they could feel like they could get along with you and work well with you on a team, or that you have a growth mindset. Even personally, we've hired people that know less, like are not that skilled, but we knew that they had a good mindset of, wanting to learn and can work with people. Like people skills is like the most valuable thing. I think if you were to take away anything from college and going into the workforce, I can't say that for every field, but I think people skills is the highest thing that a lot of like companies look for, so.
And to that point, it depends on the industry you want to go to. If you want to go into healthcare, please go to school.
Yeah.
But if you,
That's true. Yeah.
If you want to be in tech, like I'm in tech right now, you can learn tech off small courses. You don't have to go to college for that. You can take courses off the internet. If you're really savvy and know how to learn, you can really make yourself like get a really good career out of learning from others. And there's so many options and possibilities for that. So if you're creative, you want to be a designer, you could go to design school. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's so many other options. Like nowadays, especially in tech, we don't really look at, did you go to college or anything like that. Is what are the accomplishments and the projects that you decided to work on, or the things you built for yourself, and how you're applying this, and if you're hungry for what you're doing, you can learn so many different ways. And nowadays, and again, it depends on context and what kind of job you want to get, but you can really, carve a career for yourself, even if you can maybe not afford to go to college or anything like that, but gain that knowledge in a different way.
Yeah. And like communication is like so important too, like how you present yourself and how you talk about yourself, like balancing that humility and also that confidence. And just, I think communication is really important too.
Yeah. Man, I want to go deeper, but I don't want to keep you all too long. For the audience,
part two, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. They haven't eaten dinner yet, so I can't be selfish right now. But,
we're hangry, as said earlier.
Oh man, hangry. Just passionate. No, but any books, podcasts, or learning resources you guys recommend right now?
I don't read books, unfortunately. But the podcast that I've been listening to is all news podcasts, like NPR Up First, NPR Politics, and then BBC News Hour. Also, the NPR app has really great up-to-date news. I've just been more focused on keeping up with current events and news lately, just to be educated for our upcoming election, really, which is very, very important. Register and go out to vote if you are a citizen of this country. Sorry, I had to plug that in there.
No, it's cool. The crazy thing, though, is this might come out after the election because, it usually comes out like a month later.
Hopefully you voted and hopefully you're registered. There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm not American, so I'm just saying wishful thinking.
No, not yet. It's coming.
Maybe we don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's the whole citizenship. I'm already citizen of 2 countries, so we'll see if I can get a third one under my belt.
Yeah. Oh, we might move to Canada. I'm just kidding.
What?
You heard it here first. No.
Yeah. I heard it here first.
Oh yeah, you did. That's cool. All right. So I guess I just have one more question for y'all. It's a 2-parter. So if there's one thing you could ask your future self, what would it be? And if there's one thing you could tell your high school self, what would it be?
I think to ask one thing I would ask my future self is, did I get to spend enough time with the people I love? That's what I ask. And what I would tell my high school self is to not worry about what people think about me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Future self, I would ask myself, are you proud of the life you lived? Are you happy? I think these are important things. And then what I would say to my younger self, just chill, just calm down, breathe and chill. It's not as difficult as you think. It's not as scary as you think. It's doable. You can really just enjoy the journey. It seems stressful, but really it's not difficult. So just breathe, chill, enjoy the ride.
Nice.
Yes.
That's awesome. I just wanted to encourage you guys before you take off, but that you continue to just trust God through every single season. He's just going to continue to take you guys places further than you could your own strength, and just keep walking with him, and he'll take you exactly where you need to go. And you got this. You guys dropped a lot of gold today. Very wise people. And thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Hey, man, we love you.
Yeah, likewise. And anything you want to promote at the moment? Any new songs dropping, or what's happening with y'all?
Well, yeah, I am working on an album that will hopefully be on Spotify by the end of the year.
Nice.
5 songs. It's being mixed and produced by my friend Timothy Robert Graham in Seattle. It's under the artist name Tapsilog, which is a Filipino breakfast.
You mind spelling it?
Oh yeah, Topsilog. Name subject to change. Who knows? But hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Julie, your album too?
No, I would say I would encourage everyone to shop local if you're in the Bay Area. We're presenting Oaklandish today, but encourage you to go shop local and encourage your local businesses. If you're looking for gift ideas for the holidays, gift cards always helpful. Yeah. So that would be my plug right now.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Assembly Hall in San Francisco. They're a local clothing shop. They need some love out there.
Nice. Free plug for them. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for coming on once again, and hope you guys have a good night and eat something.
We will. Thank you, Isaiah.
No worries. And for everyone else, until next time, we're maturing. We're going to keep learning, stirring up, and chasing after what our Creator created us to do. So have a good one, everyone. Peace.